Okay, now we're going to be graphing lines using the intercepts. Okay, so a couple key terms is, and most importantly, is what is an intercept? Okay, we have two possible intercepts depending on our graph. Remember, we're graphing lines, and lines could be go this way, they could go this way, so forth and so on. So what are intercepts? Well, the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, now if you look at, and I'm going to draw another line here, if you look at this red line here, I'm trying to do my best. Okay. Alright, if you look at this line, and we have our x-intercept and our y-intercept, the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. So we go to our line and we look at where the line crosses the x-axis, and that point is 5, 0 for this line. Okay. If we look over at the y-axis, the y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis, alright, we have this point, 0, 8. Okay. If you notice, for the x-intercept, y is 0. And for the y-intercept, x is 0. And that's going to be the case all the time. So when we have a y-intercept, x is going to be 0, and then whatever y is. Okay, and then the x-intercept, y is going to be 0, and then whatever x is. Alright, I just used a and b as variables. It could be anything. Alright, we also talked again, x-axis, y-axis. Remember, x-axis is the horizontal axis, y-axis is the vertical axis. Alright, and then the last thing is standard form. We're going to talk about standard form. We talked about function form. If you remember, function form is when we have y by itself. Okay, standard form is when we have x and y on the same side. Okay, and it's also shown as ax plus b y equals c, where a, b, and c represent numbers. Okay, so just to give you an example, 4x plus 5y equals 10. Alright, so that's standard form. You notice x and y are on the same side of the equation, they're on the left side. Alright, so let's look at some examples. Find the x-intercept. Okay, so I want to find the x-intercept for this line. Okay, so I'm going to substitute in 0 for y. Alright, because what we learned before is if I want to find the x-intercept, y's got to be 0. So if I want to find the x-intercept for this equation, y is going to be 0. So I'm going to substitute the value of 0 for y, and then I'm going to solve for x. Okay, 5 times 0 is 0. That kind of goes away. So you're left with 4x equals 20. And then I'm going to solve for x, so I got to do the inverse. And you get x equals 5. So my x-intercept for the line I'm going to draw is x is 5, y is 0. So 5, 0. Similar to the example on the previous slide. So my line is going to cross at that point right there. Do I know the rest of my line yet? No. Can I draw my line yet? No, because I need 2 points to draw a line. At least 2. Alright, well, let's take the same equation and try to find the y-intercept. So this time I'm going to substitute 0 for x. Okay, so instead of writing x, I'm going to write 0. 4 times 0 is 0, so that kind of goes away. And we get 5y equals 20. Get rid of the 5 by dividing it, and we get y equals 4. Alright, we solved for y afterwards. I miswrote it. Alright, so the y-intercept is at x was 0, y is 4. So 0, 4. That point right there. Okay? Now let's put these two together. We had 5, 0 and 0, 4. 5, 0, 0, 4. Okay, so we had our 2 points, 5, 0 for the x-intercept and 0, 4 for the y-intercept. Alright, when you have 2 points, you could draw a line through those 2 points, and that'll be the line of our graph. Do this as neat as possible. Okay, and that's what our graph would look like by graphing it using the intercepts. Alright, let's try one out through the whole entire process. Alright, we got 3x minus 6y equals 12. So first we're going to find the x-intercept. Alright, so we're going to plug in 0 for y. Alright, now we're going to solve. So we get 6 times 0 goes away, so we're just left with 3x equals 12. And we get x equals 4. So our first point is 4, 0. Now we're going to plug in, we're going to find the y-intercept, and we're going to sub in 0 for x to find the y-intercept. Three times 0 is 0, so that kind of goes away. So you have negative 6y equals 12, and we're going to solve for y. You get y equals negative 2, so we get 0, negative 2 for our y-intercept. 0, negative 2. Okay, we have our 2 points. We could draw a line through the 2 points, and that's the graph of 3x minus 6y equals 12. Alright, try a couple on your own, and please feel free to ask me questions if you have any.